Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. This is Wednesday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. Alan Ruff and Barry Ferguson are with me here, and we're about to talk about a crucial game coming up for Scotland. Yeah, lots to talk about, but Scotland on our minds. They're in Astana for the match against Kazakhstan, and I'm looking at the latest call-off in Kieran Tierney. It's a left-back position where, more often than not, we've got too many really good players for it. This time around, it looks as if Graeme Shinnie could come in for Kieran Tierney. I would have been surprised if Tierney would have been allowed to play anyway, especially when you're nursing a pelvic problem that quite simply needs an operation at some point.
Yep, he's just come back from injury, obviously the pelvic injury, and I would have been surprised myself if he was going to play. But we're missing two top class left backs. I'm sure Alec will be disappointed in that. But listen, you just need to move on. Call-offs happen, injuries, players are just coming back from injury, they've got to watch what they're doing. So I look at it as an opportunity for other players to come in and show that they can play at international level, and it looks like Graeme Shinnie will get the chance. I know he's played central midfield all season for Aberdeen, but listen, he's good enough to play left back as well.
Yeah, over and above that, Ruffy, we're playing against Kazakhstan. Let's get a reality check on this one. If anything, we've always been worried about conceding goals. Now I'm thinking to myself, scoring goals is where we're looking at now.
Yeah, that's why I think we've got to look at the midfield. I think we've got to look at the energy that's in that midfield, and they all can score goals. There's no doubt about that. It doesn't mean the striker's not going to score it, but if he can hold the ball up to get them round about the 18-yard line, we know Forrest can come in and score some goals. You know, we know that McGinn can score, Armstrong can score, McGregor can score on the big occasion. So I think that's where the danger for us or for them will come from. Our midfield will be too strong for them.
Yep, our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi looks ahead to the match.
Scotland opened their Euro 2020 qualifying campaign with a visit to Kazakhstan on Thursday afternoon. Even though Scotland have the safety net of a playoff game via last year's Nations League victory, manager Alex McLeish has insisted that qualifying from Group I, which includes World Cup quarter-finalists Russia and the number one ranked team in the world, Belgium, is the number one priority. Their opponents, Kazakhstan, are ranked 117th in the world and have only won 2 of their last 7 games, so Scotland come into the game as favourites, and a win is vital for their qualification hopes. The match will be played at the Astana Arena, where several players have been before, with Celtic in August 2017. Scotland are in good form, topping their Nations League group with 3 wins out of 4. In the decisive November games, they played an impressive pacey approach with a young dynamic midfield and attacking wingers in Forrest and Fraser. Ryan Fraser is unavailable for the game due to an agreement with Bournemouth to not play on a plastic pitch. The same goes for Callum Patterson, and skipper Andy Robertson will be a big miss. He misses out to have dental surgery. All 3 will be available for Sunday's San Marino tie though. The striker conundrum continues with Lee Griffiths absent, Stephen Naismith injured, and Stephen Fletcher, who led the line in the last 2 matches, a mix of the two. McLeish's team selection is still up for debate then, but the outcome of the game is not. It's game 1 and it's a must win.
Yeah, and of course Stephen Fletcher not in. That raised a few eyebrows. People were perhaps too early in their scathing assessment of it. Here's Stephen Fletcher's answer to why he's not there. I definitely feel fit, I feel strong, and when you feel like that going into a game, it's always a bonus. You feel good about yourself. It's been highlighted the game in Kazakhstan is on an artificial pitch, and with the knee injury I picked up, I had it for a long time and I can't take a chance on aggravating it again, especially with the way I'm feeling right now. It would just put me back to square one again. On doctor's advice and kind of personal advice, I thought it would be best to leave it. I wish the lads all the best and hopefully they can go over there and get the points we need. Are you buying that?
Well, if the doctor's advising them, not to play on artificial grass, well, you've got to listen to the specialist. Look, he's been in fine form for Sheffield Wednesday. He's a player I've always liked. When he came into the Scotland team the previous game, he looked the player that I always thought he was. So he's going to be a big miss. It's disappointing, but listen, you've got to go with the advice of the medics.
I like him actually. In the last game when he came on, he just holds the ball in. He brings other people into play. And it was so crucial because of our complete lack of quality in that area. He put himself about, he put in a real shift. Now, I think you can cut him some slack because he's at the tail end of his career and you don't want to go on an artificial pitch and then all of a sudden find you're out for the last year of your career.
Yeah, I think the artificial pitch now is a ready-made excuse for players who are carrying injuries. And I'm not saying these players are not carrying as serious an injury as what they're talking about, but I mean, I'm sure Barry could tell me players that have been carrying injuries and pushed the boat out because they wanted to do it for their team or their country or whatever. Depends on the injury. We don't know how bad it is.
But do you know, if you've got various injuries, let's just say, for example, knee, ankle injuries, do you not increase the percentage risk of doing the damage to yourself rather than maybe playing on the grass, which has got a bit of give?
Remember, Stephen McLean couldn't play in Astroturf Parks until he went to Hearts. No, that's Johnson. He wouldn't play in an Astroturf Park because he said he had injuries that he had. He didn't want to think. Lo and behold, he goes to Hearts, and all of a sudden he's running about playing in Astroturf Parks.
I honestly don't think Stephen Fletcher would have pulled out otherwise, because we used his before. The way he played the previous game, he was a certain starter. For me, he's different from what we've got. He can hold the ball in, but also he can finish as well. So that's something I've lacked up top, especially with obviously Nazy been out injured as well. I thought he was going to be a certain starter, but listen, he's took the advice of the doctors, and you've just got to trust him in that.
Yep, okay. What is that starting 11? What's it looking like? Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi put together what it might look like. Ruffy, do you see any deviations from that?
No, not at all. I think there's enough there to trouble the opposition. I know we're worried a wee bit that the back four's all over the place, but I would like to hope that we're on the front foot. Obviously, we're under pressure, in some parts of the game, but these players there have been there and done it, so that they should be good enough, to see us through the 90 minutes.
I like the look of the middle five, Barry.
I'm just about to say that. If you circle that middle five, that is a top quality middle five for me. That's where the game will be won. I don't think we've got anything to fear. You've got to respect them, but that's where games are won and lost, in the middle of the park. And you look at that five have got goals, good football players, strong mentalities, so I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
Yeah, rather scaringly, our reporter Gabriel has been working in the background, and with Cheryl as well. They've managed to come up with 11 players that were born after Scotland last qualified for a major tournament. That's 11 players actually playing now who were born after Scotland last qualified for a major tournament. Kylian Mbappe has managed to get to his age and have a World Cup winners' medal. Frightening. Here's the quiz. Yeah, that quiz is causing a few problems, but no sooner had I mentioned that there was a distinct lack of correct entries, Ruffy, and they just started flooding in on it as well. So, but I'm looking at you two and I'm thinking we're going to have to stretch ourselves to Friday before you get it.
I've not had to think about it, but I'll concentrate tonight and I'll have the answer on Thursday.
Right, okay.
I need to get it before Ruffy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I had a wee bright light there.
Yeah, did you? Okay.
Obviously I don't want to give it away.
Don't give it away, because somebody's going to win one of their team T-shirts in their own team's favourite colours. Now, listen, this is... we're talking about the Scotland players, and one in particular who might play at left back, which is Graeme Shinnie. Interestingly enough, he's been linked with Rangers, and quite a few people are looking and saying it's just not going to happen. I think Graeme Shinnie's actually come out and said that he won't be joining Rangers because of the effect it would have on what he's achieved at Aberdeen. Do you think anything like that? Respect for any previous club comes into it when you're thinking about your own future?
No, I don't think you should be saying anything like that. Look, there's plenty of players that have moved from Aberdeen to Rangers. Of course they're going to get a bit of stick.
Yeah.
You've got to handle that stick. That's part and parcel of football. Listen, he's a good player. I can understand why Rangers or some clubs down the Championship are looking at him, because he is Aberdeen's driving force in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
But again, is he going to come into the Rangers team? I doubt it, because I think Rangers need to now sign players that are going to come straight into that starting 11. He is a good player, Graeme Shinnie, don't get me wrong. But if he's going to worry about getting abuse or getting a bit of stick off Aberdeen fans, I find that strange.
Yeah. The first time around when let's just speak in a hypothetical world, but the first time around when you were leaving Rangers, I think you were destined for Blackburn Rovers.
Yep.
If there was a chance and Aberdeen had come in with the right money, see where I'm going with this, Ruffy? And suddenly the lure of the Northeast, would you have gone up to Pittodrie?
Oh. Simple.
All right, okay. Not even if they were doubling your money.
It's a three-hour drive. Blackburn was closer. It was only 2:15.
Oh, right, brilliant. Okay, I have a feeling there was going to be double standards there, the way you were saying it. Of course, Aberdeen, let's not forget, I've offered them apparently one of the most lucrative contracts to stay in. I don't know about you, but
it won't be anywhere near what Rangers or a Championship club would offer. I don't think it'll be anywhere near what Rangers or a Championship club would offer, and they'd have to weigh it up. And obviously, he knows what Rangers are all about. I just think at his career, he needs to be playing. He needs to pick a side that he knows that he's going to be playing every week.
But he's also at an age, this is his last big contract. I think he's 27, coming up in 28. He's got to think of his family as well. I mean, he's an intelligent guy. So he'll need to weigh all offers up, because it's a short career, Peter. So he's got a big decision to make. I think if Aberdeen lose him, it'll be a massive miss. It seems to happen to Aberdeen every summer.
Yeah.
One or two of their most important players always go. Kenny McLean last summer, who was a top player for Aberdeen, and Derek will be desperate to keep him. But listen, he's got to think his family and his future.
Yeah, which makes Derek McInnes's achievements all the more remarkable. Barry's saying it happens every summer. Yeah, they do lose key players, but they're on the verge of potentially being in 2 cup finals this year, and they're top 3.
Yeah, I think Derek's already touched on that in some of his interviews, and I'm sure he would rather have it the other way, that players would commit themselves to it. I think that's why they're putting a lot of pressure on this new stadium and the new training ground. That's the kind of thing that would make players commit themselves to a 3 and a 4 year, and even the younger players to say, oh, look what we've got ahead of us. So maybe that's what they're looking at, you know, to strengthen their side.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to finish on this little segment with a story that I think Barry will remember well, which is quite simply, you won your MBE. It was a great time, just tremendous enjoyment and achievement, and I think your whole family were absolutely delighted with it. So many people were congratulating him, and we filmed a video of Neil Lennon congratulating him in his house, sitting in his couch. You should have seen his face that day. It was
on my space.
Yeah, exactly. His face was a picture.
Drinking tea out of my cup.
Yeah, well, not only that, you spare a thought for Shay Logan, who went out on his stag night, and I mean this. I mean, Ruffy, come on, if you're going on your stag night, your mates have really started to rub it in when you go out as a tribute to Scott Brown.
Yeah, that's brilliant, isn't it? You know, you can always think that footballers are going to come up with something special. And you know, when we were at Hibs, I won't tell you who the player was, but we had them in, and it was around about Christmas time, and we said it was a fancy dress night out, and we had them dressed up in the stockings, suspenders, and the French maid suit and everything, and here it wasn't there. It wasn't there at all. We all just sat waiting on turning up.
There is a line after that, but I'm not going for it. But nevertheless, Barry, you get off lately.
Oh, I'm buzzing with that. My mates, my stag do, my mates turned up with something like that, I'd kill them.
Yeah,
I'd kill them.
Absolutely.
But listen, it's good banter.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Logan's had a torrid time.
Yeah, you've got a fair play to Shane Logan as well. He's took it. He's took it for his mates. It's a laugh. It's fair play to the guy. I think we should highlight more of that bit of banter within the game, which is the good positive side of it. Anyway, Benkovic, Filip Benkovic. Brendan Rodgers, this is the Leicester City manager, Ruffy, said that he'll be coming back to Leicester. He won't be going back to Celtic. I don't think anybody, believed that Celtic would cough up anything between 12 and 15 million for him, although he's been good, hasn't he?
No, he has been good, and unfortunately he's had injuries along the way that's taken him out of the team, particularly in Europe. He's a European style of centre half. He's comfortable on the ball. He can take it from at the back as well. But no, I don't think Celtic were ever going to spend that kind of money. Yeah,
Celtic need an entirely new back four in the summer, Barry. I mean, they need to put together a totally different side at the back.
I need a right back and two centre backs. Obviously Kieran Tierney's going to be there unless somebody comes in with crazy money for Kieran Tierney, but it looks if he wants to stay, and he will be a future Celtic captain, let's be honest. But they do need to rebuild. Benkovic is a player I think in time will be top class. But obviously he's gone back to Leicester, so it's a big rebuild at Celtic this summer.
Yeah, Chris Burke, it looks as if he could be signing an extension at Kilmarnock. He's been good for them. He's in the twilight of his career, but I think he's filled a role. He hasn't just been there to see out his career. He's made Kilmarnock a threat going forward as well.
Yeah, but I think he was up at Ross County before that, and he had a bit of an illness, and he wasn't getting back to kind of the form. But listen, I've seen Burke a few times this season, and he's impressed me. He's always been a good player, Burke. He's played at a very good level, and he's been one of the outstanding performers for Stevie Clarke this season. Yeah,
and this is something we're going to probably discuss in later shows as it gets closer to the awards ceremony, Ruffy. But have you got anybody you think is going to be manager of the year so far?
That's a tough one. That you've thrown on is obviously Stevie Clarke was up there, depending where they finish. Obviously, with Brendan Rodgers went away, Lenny's not done enough, in there. I don't think Stephen Gerrard's done enough either. So I think you might be starting looking at other divisions. Are
Ross
people
County?
Down? Well, again, you don't know what's going to happen there. You don't know who is, going to win that league. There's still obviously the cup to go as well. I mean, Dennis McInnes, if he was to win that cup, and maybe get into second would be in the front running.
Yeah, okay. Interesting one. We're going to talk about it. We'll put out a poll. We'll get your thoughts on it as well across social media, on YouTube, on Facebook and on Twitter as well. We'd love to hear your comments on the manager of the year, player of the year, young player of the year. Give us your thoughts. Let's get the ball rolling because most of the voting slips will be out there. Just to finish, Harry Kane's been talking about the possibility of England winning the Nations League. He said it would top getting to the World Cup semi-finals.
If we win the Nations League, it will top it. I think I've said before to have a chance to win a trophy in an England shirt is not very often. So I think if we go and have a good summer and win that trophy, then in my eyes it's a better year. Of course, 2018 was fantastic, but the main thing for me is the team and trying to win things, and we have a chance this year.
Yeah, I think Harry's just talking that tournament up, Barry, yeah?
Yep.
World Cup semi-finals, good going.
Yeah, I think you've summed it up perfectly. I think you're just talking up. World Cup semi-finals, massive. Listen, if they go and they win it, then you can maybe turn around and say maybe eclipse it, but I think you've summed it up perfectly.
Yeah, okay. Barry agrees with Peter Martin. Ruffy just looks on bemused.
I'd like to wish them all the best.
Yeah, I thought you might, Ruffy. And on that note, thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.